Welcome everyone, this is Pound of Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week I'm joined by Krister,
Hello.
Cinders,
Hello.
and Sanswinda.
Hello, everybody.
And there is everybody all nice and ready for some wonderful release notes.
Yes.
Sure.
And the dogs agree.
The dogs agree. All right then, let's go and see what's in store for update 47.4. And these are the latest news here, which was released on April the 8th, 2026. So all the updates in here were related to the folly of Nagakeri. For Badaral the Gorger, the morale of the plump spiderling has been reduced.
Excellent.
Yes.
Ew.
And the unnerving spider's spores of fear has had its ability range reduced. For Malcorn's maximum morale has been reduced by 3%, and Blighted Bloom has had its maximum morale reduced by 20%. For the Legion of Lareth, Krishtir, the Night Shadow, the initial cooldown and cooldown of Nightfall has been increased, and the Assassination has had its cooldown increased on Tier 3. The initial cooldown and cooldown of Call Strikers has been increased on Tier 3. And the health of Assassins and Night Singers has been reduced, and Nightfall damage has now ramps up every 25 seconds instead of every 20 seconds. For Zamaktar, the Putrescent, Zamaktar's suffocating spores on Tier 3 that spawn when the player dies now have a smaller area of effects that deals less damage. Terrible Roar's debuff duration has been reduced from 60 seconds to 45 seconds, and water should no longer sometimes remain risen during the fight with Zamaktar, the Putrescent, on Tier 3 difficulty. And that's it for the updates for 47.4.
Oh,
Nice.
hey. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, right?
And those sound like good changes.
I don't know, I've never run the raid.
Me neither. But all of those sound like things that would make most raids better.
I would have thought that what would have made it better from your point of view is that they removed all spiders.
Well, yes, but also I can avoid it if I need to.
Then let's head on to Borer, where they had a beta on there. There was the second beta for Update 48, A Glorious Hunt. And let's see, in here, we have a special note. The underlying data structure for kinships has been adjusted to enable future work on the system. This should result in no visible changes to the kinships and kinship commands. Actually, I think that was from last week. They just had a weird special note color in there. All right, let's go to the items that are actual changes from last week's beta. For the Brawler, the plant feat skill description no longer states a specific incorrect interval value for its defensive bonuses. And for the Guardian, the tooltip for the trait Reckless Attack now correctly refers to Reckless Attack rather than Reckless Strike.
It's always nice when the tooltips match the name of the skills.
All
I'm
right.
a fan of this change.
Okay. Then let's go to the Lore Master. Burning Embers Tier 2 dot effect has been renamed to Flaming Embers to distinguish it from the skill and its initial hit, which is still being called Burning Embers. The Fellowship Friend cat effect now correctly shows its bonus as being plus 3% melee damage, not plus 3% outgoing damage, which was incorrect. For the Runekeeper, Runekeepers once again gains the charged effect when the charged effect is applied in tiers. Okay, the charged special effect when charged effect is applied or tiers up. All right. So apparently they weren't doing the special effect that was associated with all that.
Apparently not.
All right. Then let's go to quests. We have added a second quest using Embers of Enchantment to acquire Virtue XP. This quest resets daily. For instances and skirmishes, the Isle of Storms instance now scales from level 150 to 160. Just in case you didn't think that the level 150 version was tough enough, I guess.
The real question is, does the gear and drop rewards scale?
I don't know. I suppose we're going to have to run it at some point and see what happens. For the Folly of Nagaketi, let's see. All right. It looks like to me that all of those changes that I read. Oh, of course, the Bowler moved in all those changes that I just read for the update. So
Right, so that is now live as well as in the bull roar.
right. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So that they might have. No, I think they came out on the same day. So it was just the fact to tell you that yes, the Bowler does have the updates that we did on the regular patch notes also. So let's go to items and rewards. Ashes of Osgiliath instance gear updates. The armor sets available from the Ashes of Osgiliath instance cluster, the Sunken Labyrinth, the Ruined City, and the Dome of Stars has been updated. That sounds like something that was done in relation to the legendary servers.
That is possible.
Yes. The gear set is now fixed at level 100 / item level 202 and will no longer scale with your character's level at the time of the drop, ensuring consistent stats on every piece that you earn. Class-specific set bonuses have been re-added to those new versions. There is now a unique set for the Brawler and Mariner. All right, that's good to know. Set pieces now have a chance to drop exclusively from the level 100 challenge versions of all three instances, specifically the Osgiliath Labyrinth armor, the Osgiliath Ruins armor, and the Osgiliath Dome armor. And previously acquired gear is unaffected and will keep its current level, but not gain set bonuses. The old non-set gear can be exchanged for their new set equivalences via the barter at the Osgiliath Rewards vendor or quartermasters. So I guess you have to decide which is more important to you, the stats or the set bonuses.
Why
And
not both? Said why not both?
Sorry. New
Problem is
Bauble.
you'd be too powerful with both.
Exactly.
New Baubles. For new Baubles, the item that played the animation will now be consumable scroll that teaches you the Bauble skill permanently. Their new set equivalents via barter at the Osgiliath Rewards vendor
I think you
quartermaster.
skipped a line up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're right. I went up a line. Okay, yes, new bubbles. For new bubbles, the item that played the animation will now be consumable scroll that teaches you the bobble skill permanently and brings it to the bobbles tab of the collections. Okay. The Rotten Fruit reusable item available from Frostbuff Rotten Fruit Tier 3 is now a bauble.
Yay!
The Dragon Fireworks reusable item is now a bauble and is available from daily and weekly login rewards during the Yule event.
Yay!
Okay, I gotta say, I really appreciate the baubles because the Frostbluff, Flower Petals, and Rotten Fruit are character bound. So you can't store them as like one giant stack of whatever in your vaults, your shared storage. You have to have space on your characters to have them in all of your vaults or in your inventory. And as somebody who does not have that kind of space in their inventory on their characters, I'm really looking forward to having it be consumable and then not an inventory item.
Right. Now, the Dragon Fireworks. That's the one that confused me because didn't they already have two versions of the Dragon Fireworks?
I think so.
The one
But
that was a skill and the one that was a consumable.
any that become a bauble are good for me because I would rather have firework baubles than fireworks in my inventory that I have to keep, like, not selling.
True, but it sort of
Dwarven
makes the
candle
skill
bauble?
redundant.
Well,
Okay, fair. Unless now the skill is a bauble thing, like under baubles instead of under skills. When you go to
I
light
feel like
fireworks.
you've just said bobble too much.
Bubble,
yeah.
bubble, 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 bubble.
Okay, now that just is way high.
Yeah, I agree with Sans about why it would be good because especially once you get your fireworks, like your anniversary fireworks and the dragon fireworks and stuff, like the more things that can be baubles that you don't have to worry about losing. Because I'm still sad about M's pie, the permanent pie that you can carry around. That's your pie, nobody else's pie, right? She had it at one point. It is now gone, and short of drowning by trying to bring everything back, she can't get it
I
again.
don't
And
think
so
that
if
that
it
would even bring it back, unfortunately.
right, but if it was something that could be a bauble, right, you get it and you use it and it turns into a bauble, then you don't accidentally lose your stuff either. Because those fireworks and things like that, they're really cool. It'd be really sad if you accidentally dragged them off and then they were gone forever. I don't know. My
I
two
agree.
cents. I love the idea of turning everything into baubles that is consumable like that. That would live in your inventory otherwise. So
I mean, while they're
Okay.
at it, they should turn the pages into deeds instead of quests.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, they really should be deeds.
that's all.
All right. And for UI and miscellaneous, Control L no longer opens a broken version of the deed log. And that's it for the notes on Borer.
Nice.
I'm going to guess that there's going to be probably at least one more of those coming up. I don't know when they're planning on releasing it, but I believe that this is also going to be including the anniversary. So they will need to get it out before the anniversary. If that's correct, I suppose we could look up when the anniversary is going to be this year. That could be sort of like checking the cheat sheet.
Fair.
Well, let's see. 19th anniversary is 4/23. So that is 12 days from now. So that means that I will expect update 48 then to come out in 2 weeks.
That sounds about right.
Assuming no disasters, of course.
Of course.
Right. Then let's go into our next new one where we have a new letter to the players from Orion. That's right. We have a letter from Orion on April 2026. Can you believe it? We have already a quarter of the way through 2026, and LOTRO is turning 19 years old. 19 years of adventures, friendships, victories, and unforgettable journeys through Middle Earth. And with the 20th anniversary coming up fast, this year is already shaping up to be something truly special. We kicked off the first quarter with a bang. Update 47 Folly of the Kings went live. Our newest raid, the Folly of Nagakeri, opened its doors. The Spring Festival got a fresh coat of paint, and both the Mordor and Angmar servers saw major updates. We have been pushing out new rewards, expanding our latest expansion content, rolling forward with 4K UI support, improving classes and performance, and knocking out a long list of lingering bugs. And honestly, that's just the warm up. Now, we are charging into quarter two with one of the biggest updates of the year. Update 48, A Glorious Hunt arrives later this month, bringing the story of Mizadi and the rise of Hamat Renewed to an epic conclusion. VIP players get access to the brand new content pack featuring the stunning Harakali Fells, an arid frontier full of danger and discovery. The content pack includes over 75 new quests and deeds, new missions, and, later this quarter, a brand new 6-player instance. Plus, Update 48 includes free-to-all anniversary festival upgrades, delving reward updates, and the long-awaited arrival of the Rivendell housing. All this starts dropping in April. And yes, all this is in Q2. But we are not slowing down. Quarter 3 is lining up to be just as packed as we prepare for our next expansion later this year. The Midsummer Festival and Farmers Fair are getting fresh additions. The Etmores will see major updates and the tentative debut of the Angmar Sorceress class. And yes, the Delving of Frar is making its triumphant return. As we get closer to update 49, we will share more, but trust us, heading back into the Ettendeep is going to be an adventure for both heroes and monster players. Here is a high-level look at what is coming soon. So here we have the development update for quarter 2. It says update 48, A Glorious Hunt, a new content pack, which meaning all those new quests that we're talking about, a new zone, Harakali Fells, new 6-player instance, which is probably going to be late May or early June, Rivendell housing, the 19th anniversary updates, and the Delving Rewards updates, and more. For quarter 3, so far, they're planning for update 49 in good company, Summer Festival enhancements, the Delving of Frar returns, monster player updates, Angmar Sorceress release, class updates, and more. So it looks like update 49 is going to be mainly Summer Festival and PvP, it looks like.
That is what that's looking like.
Alright. That's right, because they are not going to be, it's going to be update 50, the expansion, when they are going to be bring us finally into wherever you're going to, whatever is going to be our new zone for the next few years. Anyone have any guesses as to what the new area is going to be?
Oh, geez.
Someplace where we can finally ride Mumax.
Ooh, or
I have a,
Flangmouse.
I have a feeling that because they've been saying quite a bit is that we are finishing up our travels in the south. It sounds like it's unlikely we're going to be going anywhere where Mumox live in the next expansion.
Fair. But it would be cool.
Yes, I know. I know. I'm sure that ever since they announced that we would be going down into Umbar and all that, you've been wanting to actually ride a Mumak.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah, you'll just have to settle with mammoths and ESO, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
that does
actually,
seem to be. Or the
actually, if you
elephant
go
bear.
up north, if you go up north, into some place like Forhill or something like this, I mean, they
Maybe
have
we could
mammoths
find
there.
mammoths. That would
Yeah,
be
you can
fun.
probably find,
It'd be pretty close.
yeah, slightly hairier, but it should
You know,
work.
even if it was just a stable mount, it would be awesome.
Imagine once going through Forhill being mammoths.
It would be awesome. And also, I don't think he could get much crazier than the drunk goats in Moria, so I'm sure it would work out fine.
Oh, yeah, you got a point there. Alongside all of that, we are continuing to work on kinship improvements, expanding 4K UI support, improving performance, adding new rewards throughout the summer, and pushing forward on the big expansion coming later this year. We are incredibly excited to close out the Southern story, but even more excited to bring everyone back north to kick off a brand new epic story with our late 2026 expansion. Okay, that pretty much confirms what I was saying before, that yes, we are heading up north. Of course, where we've been lately, there isn't much to the south of us anyway, well, except for Ordak, of course. We think it is going to offer something for every player. Development is moving quickly, but we are not quite ready to reveal the details yet. Look for much more in this next letter coming in June. Our journey through Middle-earth is far from over, and we are thrilled to have you by our side as we continue exploring this incredible world together. And while he says coming in June, I'm going to guess it's more likely to be in July based on the timing of the more recent letters. But he can be optimistic if he wishes. Anyway, that was from Orion. So, any comments about the letter, or have we said everything we need to say about this?
I agree with his conclusion. I'm looking forward to another 19 years.
Another 19 years.
That's a lot to think about all at once, though, still.
Yeah. Then, okay, the next thing, where Orion also was part of the team along with Scenario for the latest episode of We Have a Cave Troll, where they talked about development multitasking, the idea of that each of the developers are usually working on multiple updates at a time because they're probably doing the polish work on one, working on bugs for another one, working on the main part of the development for another one, working on prototyping and prep work for another one, working on coming up with a master plan on another one. So you sometimes have 4 or 5 updates all being worked at the same time, because at some point when they decided what they're going to do, they usually like to have at least a year in advance of knowing of what's coming forward. That said, they did not decide on exactly what direction we're going in for 2026, especially later parts of 2026 and the expansion. They didn't decide on that until December of last year. So things were a little bit tricky on there, but that's one of the things that they talk about in the We Have Control episode, is that they did do a major pivot in late December on the direction that they were planning. So if you want to know how they handle all this stuff, then we have a link to the YouTube video in our show notes. So let's go and see what's on sale. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
On sale this week, we have the following. You can go there and back again and get 30% off of your milestone skills, hurried traveler, and returning traveler, which are fabulous for beating hunters at their own game. If you're doing NNL leagues competitively. Although be careful which ones you're with, because sometimes they aren't very forgiving and won't ever play with you again. When you beat them. So there is a story there. Two hunters versus my guardian and Keosaurus's guardian, Farrar. And between our acorns and our hurried traveler, returning traveler, having our milestone skills reset to 5-minute cooldowns, we were able to do the entire in an A league circuit faster than two hunters were able to do it on a team. So it was a lot of fun, and the hunters have never done it with us again. So it was fun, and it is possible. You can also get advanced riding traits and rally horns through April 16th, and the weekly coupon is for free dye olive, and the coupon code is spring for real though, SPRINGFOREALTHO, also through April 16th.
Yeah, that's they're really trying to confuse you with for and real sharing that single R. And that's it for our store sales. So let us head
Maybe
into
instead
yeah.
of spring for real, it's spring for eel. And they just misspelled it.
Or maybe it is spring for Eeltho, and Eeltho's some kind of person. Wasn't there like an Eeltho the Bard?
I mean, I think this sounds
Spring
at
for
least as
Eeltho.
plausible. It's probably really spring for real, though. They're probably
Whoa,
ready
it's
for
really
warmer
cool how you
weather.
worked that in.
Mm,
Maybe they have a character limit that they had to stay in.
all right. Then let's head into our week in gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, I, of course, spent some of my time doing one of my favorite activities, which is harassing the people in play. That was very enjoyable. ESO did a little bit of the holiday celebrations. Did some adventuring, and then played a bit of Division 2, and then we had our wonderfully kind of randomly planned but lots of fun Civ 6 match yesterday, which was very, very enjoyable. So overall, had a good week in gaming. Cinders, what about you?
I have been doing the anniversary festival in ESO, making sure I eat my cake every day, and doing all of the crafting festival for the boxes. I spent some time decorating my house as well, which was pretty fun. I really appreciate the ability to add stuff and overlap stuff and shift stuff around and turn it all different directions till it fits just the way I want it to. And then I did LOTRO and ended up doing homework that I didn't know about through Wildwood, and discovered that for being so small, Runt Guard is one quick little hobbit. So now all the rest of us are playing catch up because he went on ahead while everybody was helping me get caught up. And now we all have to catch him. So that is on my to-do list for this week. And then I also played Civ 6. The gang is back together and we are going to defeat Uncle Monty per usual. Sans, how was your week?
My week was good. Also enjoyed preparing to defeat Uncle Monty. And during the field trip, I went to visit the Anvil of Winterstith area with Durin. And we found some large unnatural ice in an area completely covered with ice. So that was kind of fun. And we also found some other treasures and things, but the drakes and drakelings weren't really very keen to share. And in ESO, I ate lots of cake alongside doing some questing and slaying for the Jubilee celebration. And then I fell down the rabbit hole of Slay the Spire too, and have made multiple attempts at climbing the spire this week with some success, and it's been really, really hard to stop. And that was pretty much my week in gaming. How was your week, Pineleaf?
All right. In LOTRO, my warden started the assault on Enmog's duel. Maybe I'll have some hope of getting through the Mizadi storyline so that I will be at the right point when the new content is released, but I'm not going to place any large bets on that. In DDO, I started the newest set of dungeons that were just released this week, and they all feature the deck of many things. So let us just say that even though we could get roughed up a bit in Slay the Spire, at least it's not as nasty as the deck of many things, because it looks like anyone who ever draws a card from the deck of many things has a bad result from it. I mean, every single time I'm going into this adventure and someone pulls a card from the deck of many things, something horrific happens. So I suggest that if anyone ever tries to sell you that deck, that you run in the opposite direction. And I also was playing some Slay the Spire 2 also. I did my first games with the Silent and the Regal. So I'm hoping to have an opportunity or play the other two characters in the near future. So far, I'm having a good time with that. And that is all for my week in gaming. If you have any feedback you will provide to us here at LOTRO Players, you can send it to podcast@LOTROPlayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the LOTRO Players News, and we record the DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys join us for our shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight then. This is Piney Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.